There are two reasons why we believe that we need to look at this, first of all, to see why it comes back to Canaan. The answers was to that question that we raised last week is because Jesus, Brother Curtis, had been received there. Are y'all not going to help me?
Yeah.
He'd been received there. I mean, he can't find reception at his hometown. But Jesus is received there. We learned last week that God will show up in your life if you receive Him. He'll show up at the Canaan moments of our lives if we just open up our hearts, open up our arms, open up our lives, and let Him come in. And we learned that even when it seems like, Michelle, that life sometimes shows us a point where God gives us breakthrough, God gives us deliverance, God gives us freedoms from our foes and our problems, that sometimes, Dimitri, it seems like as soon as God blesses us, it seems like He leaves us all by ourselves. But this text lets us know if He would come back to Canaan again and work another miracle, yes, He can show up again in your life. This is not the last time. Oh, y'all ain't gonna help me here. You're gonna get blessed. God is in the blessing business, and He can come back and bless your life again. This is not the last time you can see God move. If He moved one time in your life, yes, the good news is He can move again. But the question is, y'all, will you keep waiting for God, and will you keep waiting in your waiting when you receive Him when He comes back to do what He's done before? See, reception, I got to pause right there, is not about only when you see God moving. Reception, or when you allow God to have His way in your life as He does in Canaan, says I can see God moving even when my physical eyes can't see it being moved. Oh, let me say that again. Real reception is not seeing it work out, but you see it working out. Oh, let me take you back, give you a little dose of Bible. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. That means I can see what I can't see. Even though it doesn't look like it's working, I know God is working, so I'm going to sit and wait on God, because if He showed up in my life before, He can do it all over again. Slap your neighbor and tell him He's not through blessing you yet. He's not through blessing. Oh, some of y'all don't believe it. I'm here to tell you, I've seen God show up in my life and then see the devil try to ruin everything God built up, but the same God that showed up in my life before came back all over again and made a way in my life. He's been received there. But then second of all, we ask, why does He work this miracle from a long distance? It's because He wants to reveal something about what He does by way of working the miracle out. I like the way John calls it. He does not call them just miracles. In the Greek, John calls them signs. That God does some things miraculous. Watch this, y'all. To show us something. And some of us, y'all, are so spiritually spoiled. Oh, y'all. Y'all ain't gonna help me today. Some of us, God just bless us over and over again. Some of us, God just open doors time and time again, that He does so much for us that we are so blind and spoiled that we can't see what God is trying to show us. Oh, I knew I wasn't going to get no help there. By what He does. See, some of y'all need to be shouting right here when I say this. That did you think it was something that God was trying to show you? That although there were other people that were qualified for the job, you got the job knowing you were underqualified, but all those folks that were qualified had degrees, had the know-how, had the experience, or still trying to get a spot on your job. But you got be an expert trying to figure out how in the world did you make it out of it. Everybody else that have come my way, they died or they've been suffering for a long time. But you sitting up there healed and happy right now, and you are blessed and favored to know that God is a healer. God is trying to show you something. Some of us got to look at our lives and see how God has given us breakthrough and God has given us covering. Yes. But you know that God should have let go of you a long time ago. Yeah. And let me just pause here and let you know one of his greatest miraculous gifts that he's given to us is his forgiveness. Yes. And if you can't shout about nothing else, you want to shout about that God should have let you go a long time ago. And God has still kept his hand on you. God is trying to show you. His miracles are working to be signs and treat as signals for our lives. Yes, sir. But the question is, why did he work this miracle really from a long distance? Right. Well, we learned last week that the first reason why Brother Curtis is that he's got to humiliate our nobility. Say that. Yeah, say that. Yeah. He's got to bury what we think is the best and boastful about ourselves. Yeah. Say that. So he can get the best and the most out of our lives. All right. All right. He's got to break down what you think is your swag. Go ahead. What you think your position is, how important you think you are. Really and truly, thank you, Holy Spirit. He's got to break down what you think is your executive privilege of life. So he can be the executive over your life. God is trying to let you know that until you surrender to his will, you cannot benefit from the sovereign power that God does by his wonders. Oh, I knew he was going to. He told me this morning, they're going to get quiet right around there. Because the problem is, y'all, see, y'all going to make me go all the way back and preach again. But there's some parts of us that God has to bury before he can bless us. In this case of this miracle worked. See, the Father thought he was coming to Jesus so Jesus could do a job for his son. But if you look at the text closely, before he does a job on the son, he first does a job on the Father. Yeah. Oh, okay. Y'all ain't got y'all preaching caps on today. He does a job on the Father because the Father most likely is more dependent on who he is rather than who made him to be who he is. See, some of us get so blessed and so favored in life that God has to humiliate our best so he can humble our what we think is our best so he can honor us with his crown. He's got to humiliate us with critical moments of crises so he can honor us with his crowns. Can I ask you a question since y'all looking at me like y'all brand new today? Yes. Have you ever noticed that right when you thought you had it all together, right when you thought you had a niche on life, right when you thought you had a good grasp about what was going on in life, seemed like that's the right then was the point when the storm came. Oh, some of y'all quiet maybe because I'm all in your lap. Right when you got the degree, and you thought, now I got my degree, I definitely ought to get the job I've been looking for. That's when the storm came. Right when you got hooked up and got married and you thought, well, I'm through running around and I'm through living this other life. Now we're going to do it right. That's when the storm came in the relationship. church, this will hit home. It seemed like that's when the children in the house started acting like they had lost their mind. That's when the job started having problems on the job. That's when everything started going wrong in my body. It is because, y'all, sometimes we become more dependent on the benefits of life rather than he who gives us the benefits. So God has to suppress what we are impressed with so he can bless us with his. We got to be dependent on God. And that's what this man does. I like this because, watch this, Jamie. Before, most likely, Sister Girl, this man who's a nobleman, you know, when you got it going on, when you really got it going on, you know, you don't even come and represent yourself. You start sending delegates, you know. You know how y'all parents do once you start having kids. You don't do no stuff around the house. You know, you go wash the dishes. Don't act like y'all do. Go turn the TV. Go out there and get the man. And you know, kids if they got the nerve to ask you why, because I told you to. Some of y'all acting like y'all ain't. I guess y'all just so proper parents, you know. But you're the authority. You are the one in charge. And if let you get some money, you know, you really got a new swag. Yeah, I seen some folk in our church. It's just a side note. Seen some folk in our church when they were unemployed and broke. They were real spiritual. I was pastor, you know. Pray for me, you know, in every Bible study, every Sunday morning worship, Bible open, calling you, asking, I've been reading this, but as soon as they got the job, got a few checks under their belt, paid half of their bills off. You know how you do, pay half of the electrical bill. Now you got some swag. You don't need God no more. You don't need to pray no more. You don't need to show up Wednesday and Sunday because I've got my hands on this now. But God knows how to get you from. And if you wait, let me go back. If you do come, you don't bring all of yourself. You bring just a representative. You bring that side of you now that you gained. You know, that side of you that you got to treat me better because I got money now. I got say-so up in here because I tithe now. You ought to treat me right because I got the degree. But God knows how to take that representative. And he knows how to humble that so you can bring all of yourself. Because just as much as you start to smell yourself, God will redirect your life to let you know, baby, you ain't all of that. Every hour, every day, every minute, every second, somebody ought to help me here. Lord, you need to know I need you. And God will so plan and permit things to happen in your life that you've got to bring all of yourself. Don't let it be, y'all. This is Pastor Love right here. Don't let it be that the only time you come to God is when stuff goes out of hand. Because the truth is, if anybody really knows something about life, at any moment, things could go out of hand. I need the every. Oh, y'all better help me here.